In a small, forgotten town nestled deep within the mist-shrouded woods, there stood an old and decrepit high school. Its walls whispered tales of forgotten memories, and its windows seemed to peer into the darkest corners of the past. For years, students had heard eerie stories about the school's history, but none as spine-chilling as the tale of Lily Holloway. Lily was a peculiar girl, known for her obsidian hair and piercing green eyes. She was rumored to have an uncanny connection with the supernatural, often disappearing into the woods for hours, only to return with tales of strange encounters. Despite her eccentricities, Lily was well-liked, until one fateful night that changed everything. It was a moonless night, and an eerie silence blanketed the town. A dense fog crept in, weaving through the trees like ghostly fingers. Lily had been exploring the woods as usual, delving deeper than ever before. As the night wore on, she stumbled upon a hidden clearing, a place that seemed to vibrate with otherworldly energy. The air grew heavy, and shadows danced in the mist, conjuring visions of long-forgotten rituals. Unbeknownst to Lily, her presence had not gone unnoticed. The town's police had received reports of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from the woods. Officer Malcolm, a no-nonsense lawman with a penchant for the unexplained, took it upon himself to investigate. As Lily gazed upon the enigmatic clearing, she felt a sudden chill down her spine. The moon emerged from behind the clouds, revealing an ancient altar at the center of the clearing. A sudden gust of wind whispered eerie chants, and her heart raced as she realized the gravity of the situation. Unbeknownst to her, Officer Malcolm had quietly followed her, his flashlight flickering in the darkness. "Freeze!" Malcolm's stern voice pierced the air, and Lily turned to see the beam of his flashlight fixated on her. Panic surged within her as she realized she was surrounded by a circle of police officers, all armed and ready. A feeling of dread washed over her as they accused her of trespassing and involving herself in forbidden rituals. Terrified, Lily's instincts kicked in, and she turned to flee, racing through the woods like a specter herself. The police gave chase, their footsteps pounding in the underbrush. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as she darted through the trees, her breath a mixture of fear and determination. The forest seemed to stretch endlessly, the shadows closing in around her as if trying to swallow her whole. As the pursuit continued, the woods seemed to shift and warp, playing tricks on her senses. Branches reached out like skeletal hands, and the shadows twisted into monstrous shapes. Lily's thoughts became a jumble of fear and desperation, each step taking her deeper into the unknown. Hours passed, but Lily showed no sign of slowing down. The police were relentless, but so was she. Finally, with dawn's first light beginning to creep over the horizon, Lily stumbled upon the edge of a cliff, the ground dropping away into a ravine below. With nowhere left to run, she turned to face her pursuers. Breathing heavily, Lily held up her hands in surrender, her eyes blazing with the mixture of defiance and exhaustion. The police closed in, their expressions a mix of relief and bewilderment. Officer Malcolm, a few steps ahead of the others, looked at Lily with a newfound sense of respect. The tale of Lily Holloway's flight through the haunted woods spread throughout the town, becoming a legend that was passed down from generation to generation. Some believed she had been touched by the supernatural that night, while others thought she had simply stumbled upon an elaborate prank. But whatever the truth, one thing was certain: the eerie high school girl who had run from the police had forever etched her story into the fabric of the town's history, a tale that would continue to haunt the mist-shrouded woods for years to come. As Lily stood there on the edge of the cliff, her chest heaving, her eyes locked with Officer Malcolm's, a surreal calm washed over her. The mist seemed to part, revealing a breathtaking sunrise painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. For a moment, time seemed suspended, as if the world held its breath. Officer Malcolm approached Lily cautiously, his gaze filled with a mixture of curiosity and respect. He could sense something unique about her, something beyond the surface of the situation. "Lily," he said, his voice softer now, "what led you to that clearing last night? What were you looking for?" Lily hesitated, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts and memories. She considered telling him about the strange visions, the whispers of ancient rituals, and her fascination with the supernatural. But a cautious voice within her urged her to keep her secrets hidden, lest she be branded as something even more otherworldly. "I was just curious," she finally replied, her voice tinged with a mixture of truth and evasion. "I've always been drawn to the mysteries of the woods. I didn't mean any harm." Officer Malcolm regarded her for a moment, then sighed, his stern demeanor softening. "Well, curiosity can get the best of us sometimes, but it's important to remember the consequences of our actions." As the other officers arrived on the scene, they too seemed to have tempered their stance. Perhaps it was the surreal setting, the way the mist swirled around them, or the uncanny events of the night that had left them with a sense that there was more to Lily's story than met the eye. The police allowed Lily to leave the cliff's edge, and as she turned to walk away, Officer Malcolm spoke again, his voice carrying a note of caution. "Lily, I won't pursue this any further, but know that the woods hold secrets that even we can't fully comprehend. Be careful where your curiosity leads you." Lily nodded in understanding, a sense of both relief and gratitude washing over her. She made her way back through the woods, the memories of the night's events still fresh in her mind. She knew that she had narrowly escaped a potentially disastrous situation, but the mysterious clearing and the eerie rituals would forever remain etched in her memory. As the years passed, the tale of Lily Holloway and her flight from the police became a part of the town's lore, an enigmatic chapter in its history. People whispered about her uncanny connection to the supernatural, about the way the mist seemed to part for her and the woods seemed to protect her. Lily herself went on to lead a life shrouded in mystery, her wanderlust taking her to places unknown. She continued to seek out the supernatural, the unexplained, and the hidden corners of the world. And though she never fully revealed what she had experienced that fateful night in the woods, the memory of her flight from the police and the eerie clearing remained a touchstone in her journey, a reminder that sometimes, the most extraordinary adventures begin with the simplest of curiosities. Years had passed since the night of Lily Holloway's flight from the police. The town's old high school had fallen even further into disrepair, and the tales of that fateful night had evolved into something of a local legend. But as time went on, the stories seemed to take on a life of their own, growing wilder and more fantastical with each retelling. One stormy night, a group of teenagers gathered around a campfire on the outskirts of town, sharing tales of the supernatural. Among them was a young girl named Emily, who had grown up hearing the stories of Lily Holloway's eerie escapade. As the group shared their spookiest stories, Emily felt a strange sense of connection to the legend, as if her very presence was somehow tied to the mysteries of that night. As the night wore on, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she needed to find the truth behind Lily's story. With a mixture of determination and trepidation, she decided to venture into the woods alone, guided by an irresistible pull. The mist was thick, and the air seemed charged with an otherworldly energy. Emily's heart raced as she made her way deeper, the memories of the old stories echoing in her mind. After what felt like hours of walking, Emily stumbled upon a clearing unlike any she had seen before. The moonlight illuminated an ancient altar at its center, sending a shiver down her spine. Her breath caught as she remembered the tales of Lily's encounter with the supernatural here. But Emily's exploration was abruptly interrupted by the sound of rustling leaves behind her. She turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows, a figure with obsidian hair and piercing green eyes. It was Lily Holloway herself, seemingly unchanged by the passage of time. "Who are you?" Emily stammered, her voice trembling. Lily's lips curled into a faint smile, a mix of melancholy and wisdom in her gaze. "I'm Lily. And I've been waiting for someone like you." Emily's mind raced as she tried to make sense of the situation. She had heard the stories, but to encounter the legendary figure herself was beyond anything she could have imagined. Lily began to speak, recounting the true events of that night, the rituals, the whispers, the connection to the supernatural. "You see, Emily, there are forces in this world that go beyond what we can understand," Lily explained. "I was drawn to this place by something ancient, something that has been waiting for its time to come." As Lily spoke, a low, haunting chant seemed to rise from the very ground itself. The mist swirled around them, and Emily felt as though the boundary between the seen and the unseen was thinning. The air grew thick with an uncanny presence, and Emily realized that the stories were not mere tales but a living, breathing reality. Before Emily could react, a blinding light enveloped the clearing. Shapes and shadows danced in the radiance, and Emily felt herself being drawn into a whirlwind of energy. The world around her seemed to fracture and rearrange, as if time and space were bending. When the light faded, Emily found herself standing in the heart of a different world, an ethereal realm that pulsed with magic and mystery. And beside her stood Lily Holloway, her presence now a beacon of guidance in this strange new reality. "You've crossed a threshold, Emily," Lily whispered, her voice carrying a weight of ancient knowledge. "Here, you'll find answers to questions you never knew to ask." As Emily gazed at the otherworldly landscape, a mixture of fear and wonder coursed through her veins. The unexpected climax of her journey had taken her to a place she could never have anticipated, a realm where the stories of the past converged with the enigmatic present. And so, in the heart of this mystic realm, Emily's adventure continued, unveiling secrets that would reshape her understanding of the world and her connection to the supernatural. The unexpected climax of her journey was just the beginning, a gateway to a reality beyond imagination, where the threads of the past and the present wove together in a tapestry of mystery and magic.